Hi, the Mudbrooker here. This is a quick little video for the Kneady Homesteader. She's been considering getting one of these Spiralizer attachments for her KitchenAid stand mixer. And since I have one, I was going to give her a little demonstration of how it works and the pros and cons of it. These are a handy unit, but they do have a couple of issues, which I've had this for about 4 years, and they may or may not have addressed those problems in the meantime. So I can't really say for sure, but I can tell you what I've had to do with mine. And since I bought this, they've come out with, they call it a 7-blade set, where they call this a 5-blade. You can see there's really 4 blades and a peeler, but they count the peeler as a blade. Other than that, the rest of the stuff inside the box is all the same. It comes with an apple coring and slicing blade, a regular slicing blade, and 2 different sizes of spiralizing blades. This one's the coarse one, and this one is the finer one. The 7-blade set comes with an extra thin slicing blade and an extra fine shredding blade. It's real easy to attach and set up. Take that little piece there out. You just take the, let's see, is that in shot? Let me tip up a little bit and turn some. You just take the cover off the end of your mixer. You take the main part of it and you just slide it in and tighten down the knob. This is the, I don't know what you call it, this travels back and forth and does the peeling and slicing. This little lever here engages and disengages it on the worm drive. This is the spike that you put your food on, and I've altered this a bit and I'll explain that later. That just goes on there. Your peeler, which I've also altered, which I'll also explain, just slides on the bottom, it locks in, and it has a little release lever there to slide it off and on. And then you choose whatever blade you want. I'm going to use a slicing blade and the finer shredding blade for my little demonstration. Let me get the rest of the box out of the way. And you just put whichever blade you're going to use on there. Now, the problem that I had with this is the slicer on a really irregular shaped or really thin skinny potato would tend to leave a lot of peelings behind, and that was because, whoops, I'm going to take my blade off, and that was because on the arm of the slicer there used to be a little stop right there, which I filed off, which allows the peeler to move in closer to the center line of what you're peeling. But that also caused a problem. When this would get to the end of the travel, the peeler would hit the outside row of teeth on your food holder spike thingy. So I filed those off too. I'm sure KitchenAid wouldn't approve of that, but it makes it work a lot better. And like I say, they may have addressed that problem with later models, but that's something you should be aware of if you're going to use one of these things. Let me give you a little demonstration. I was going to do an apple with this, but I went to the store yesterday and I forgot to get any more. Otherwise, you just take your potato or your apple or whatever fruit or vegetable you're using and you put it on the spike. If it's too long to fit in there, you can take the spike off and put it on there outside the machine. The outside spikes usually didn't touch anything anyway, so it's not really much of a loss. And I haven't had any problems with food slipping on there, so that's what you have. And you just line it up, center that a little bit, and you turn your mixer on. You can run this up to, I think, 5 on your mixer. I'll just run it slow to show you. Whoops. And right off the bat, even though that's following it, you got a piece of peel caught underneath it weird. So I'll just break this off and I'll back it up a little bit and start again. There, that's how it's supposed to peel. And as you can see, it works pretty good. And when it gets to the end of the travel, it just runs out of room and stops. And every once in a while you get a really oddball shape where it's really thin and it doesn't, the peeler can't get in close enough to touch. So sometimes you'll get a little bit of peel left, but that's usually not too big of a deal. Now with this, you can either have a nice little spiral thing like that, bend it around, clip the ends together, and deep fry it and have a big curly thing. Or if you wanted to slice an apple to make apple pies, all you'd have to do is make a single cut, slap your tripod a little bit, and this will all come apart in individual slices. Just back this off, pull that off, and usually I just break these off and I deep fry them up with the rest of it. I'll do one more, and I'll put the shredder blade on there to show you how that works. Again, you just put your potato on there, flip your lever, pull it in, try and center it up a little bit, and off we go. And once again, you got your little stub left. Okay, give me a couple minutes here to set up my deep fryer, and I'll show you a couple things kind of neat things you can do with long, stringy potatoes. Okay, before I get too into this, I'm going to take apart my machine. All the parts, except the main body, are dishwasher safe, so you can just take it apart, throw them in the sink or in the dishwasher, except for the main body of it. You're not supposed to immerse this. All you need to do is just wipe that down with a damp cloth and you're good to go. But what I'm going to do is make a little bird's nest out of these spiralized potatoes. All you need to do is take one of these, I think they call these Asian style strainers. It's a little wire dipper. And you take some of your spiralized potatoes and you put them in there and you make a little nest out of it. This would be a lot easier if I had two of these, because that should be enough. Because I'm going to push the center down a little bit. Get these spread out just a little bit more if they don't spring back on me. I'm going to push the center down a little bit so it stays cup shaped, and into the deep fryer we go. Like I said, if I had two of the dippers, you could just stack one on top of the other and it would hold the shape a lot better than trying to do it with a whisk. But once you've got it started to brown a little bit, hopefully that'll release. You can let that go, get that out of the way, and we just let that fry. It doesn't take long, it takes about 2 or 3 minutes. And I'll be back in 2 or 3 minutes and show you how it comes out. Actually, that didn't take a whole lot of time, it took about 1.5 minutes. You can see that browned up real nice. Let it grip off a little bit. and take it over here in a gentle little tap, and you got a real cool little bird's nest. Now, what can you do with this? Well, all kinds of things. You put a couple of eggs in there, and they make a neat little presentation anyway. So you got your eggs and your kind of hash browns all at once. But that's some of the things you can do with one of these spiralizers. I'm going to fry up the rest of my bits and pieces here quick. And if you want to get one of these, like I said, be aware that the peeler can be a little bit of a problem because it doesn't go in towards the center line quite far enough. And if you go ahead and try and modify it, I'm sure KitchenAid probably wouldn't really approve, but I did it anyway. You'll have to take the outside teeth off of the spike holder thing and take the little stopper off of the peeler, and I haven't had any problems using it like that, so I don't think it's really going to cause a problem. They may have addressed that issue in the years since I bought this, but it's definitely a worthwhile little tool. The 5-blade units cost about $100, and it's about 20 bucks more for the 7-blade, and you can get the extra thin slice and extra fine shredding blades separately, but you can shop around a bit, find them a bit cheaper. I got this one shortly after Christmas and it was 30% off, so I only paid 70 bucks instead of 100. And if you want to get one, go ahead. I recommend them, other than the little problems that I mentioned. They work nice, and they're a slick little unit. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.